brighter.
Can you make it brighter? Yeah, it's not bright enough.
Hello, I'm the Commie.
And I'm the liberal.
And I'm the father. Hello.
Welcome to our New Year's special. We're looking back at the end of the year, all the headlines in politics and sports.
As well as the weather, music, as well as culture, and then of course movies, and of course some TV shows, and of course fashion, and by the way, COVID-19 too. First, we're gonna start off with COVID-19. Unfortunately, COVID-19 death rate went up by 1,000 yesterday. They said on Newsy yesterday that 99.9% of those deaths were children, and they were not vaccinated, which is unfair. Now, also, with the vaccination rate, so to let you know.
I should say we have 1,000 deaths today and 589,000 new cases.
And that's just today. See what I mean? Today the death rate went up again by 1,000 and 589,000 new cases.
62% of the country is fully vaccinated. I think it's quite unfortunate.
See, this is why we need to get more people vaccinated.
People are getting out and doing it, but not enough, and not as soon as they should be doing it. Take care of it right now for the benefits of all your neighbors, all your family, yourself included.
Don't turn around and wait a while to get vaccinated, because if you wait a while to get vaccinated, not only you will get COVID-19, but other people will get COVID-19 and end up dying. See, that's why you shouldn't wait so long to get vaccinated. See, people are going to go get vaccinated right now, which is good, but not soon enough like they supposed to. Like Dr. Fauci said, don't wait. If you wait, you get COVID, then you end up dying.
People are going places, too many people, huge crowds. I don't care if it's a pro football game or if it's a dance recital or something. There's just too many, that are getting out there, getting infected, passing it along. We don't know. Hey, you McDonald's. Hey, person next to you who, shoot, they might have it. Or you're on the bus. Another one might have it. I dare, brushing against somebody, to go by like that's another factor you can't do. It's hands off, It's like we got to be serious about doing something about it, because people are waiting too long, and a lot more people are going to die. And unfortunately, it doesn't look good. It looks all in the negative, not the positive. And don't lie, people, because I know a lot of broadcasters and whatnot, news people and everywhere, and the government officials and just people in general that are one party, Republican Party to Democrat Party, they're guilty, man. You got to do something.
Well, certainly the virus has been the talk of the year, and it seems to me that this COVID-19 pandemic
It's pandemic now.
Is absolutely one of the worst catastrophes of the year. And we got to start asking questions. Who was involved? How did this get out? Was there negligence with China? Was there some negligence there? And I think there was. We also have to look at Trump. Look at his response. It was very weak, and it was not strong at all. And Biden is making a mistake, leaving it to the states. There should be a national mandate of a vaccine and mass mandate nationally. We should not be leaving it to the states because Republicans will get rid of their mandates, which they have done, and that have led to the even worse cases. I mean, look at the state of Mississippi, which is Republican control. They have more cases and more deaths than if it were a country. It had more deaths than any other country, with the exception of the U.S., which is, of course, the country it's in. So I think it's a big mistake, a bad mistake by Biden to leave it to the states. There has to be a national mandate and a massive response by the federal government. And there has been, but we shouldn't be holding back. We should be, the word I think I'm looking for is talent. There should be a bigger sense of self. And I think Biden is taking a big risk by letting the states have control.
The thing that you should know about a lot of things, the old story about people are pushing it off onto the next person, that, oh, they will take care of it, they will do this. But you got to stop it, stand your ground, and do something about it. Get involved. You know, it's not going to work. You keep on brushing it to one person to the next, to the next, to the next, and just keeps going nowhere. And it hurts us getting, accomplished, with the virus.
Yeah, because whenever you give it to the states, it never works. Look at education. Our education system is poor, and they've given it to the states to manage, and look at what's happened. Austerity, overloaded classrooms, lots of problems. We shouldn't be doing that. We should be having a federal response. There's a reason why Jimmy Carter, created the Department of Education. And because the federal government had to get involved in desegregation of the schools, but also promoting things. And that's why it's like school busing, for example. So obviously the series of grants, and the other problem that we are incurring is student loan debt, which is so high, it's ridiculous. So what we need is a full government response to contain this virus. And in some ways we have gotten that, and in other ways, like the private sector, we haven't, because they still refuse to implement a mask mandate and a vaccine mandate of the private sector. And I think that's unfortunate, because that could lead to even more people contracting the virus.
And
back when this whole mess with the virus started and all that, and we worked, got to, wearing masks and more or less enforcing the masks, it got something done. People were being together and this and that. Now you go to, like, we went to the store the other day, won't say which one, and over the last, we'll say 2, 3, 4 weeks, whatever, every time we've gone out somewhere, there are so many people not wearing masks. How do you really know if they can do that? It wouldn't be better that you just make everybody wear it every time they're out in the public?
That's what they were doing at one point in the virus. Now they've sort of can detain it.
Like I said, they're pushing it off on the next person to take care of it. Oh, it'll be all right. You do it. And it'll be all right. One of those words were terribly spoken by a guy that used to be a president. and I don't recognize him
Trump.
as any type of president. He's
Loser.
he's dumb Trump.
Yeah, well, I think that's the point I'm trying to make with the states. They're pushing it off to the states, and we all know Republicans aren't going to make sure they're pushing. You're going to give the same people who are pushing these anti-vax theories the ability to regulate the vaccination of the American people. That's not right because you can't trust them. You just can't. Just like giving the right of investigation to the people who did January 6th is not right because it's obvious that those same people are going to not do well and are going to acquit and are going to be non-impartial. So I think what we're seeing is the decline of impartiality in politics and among government. Certainly, when Republicans are in charge, that seems to be the case.
Let me tell you, everybody, to be honest with you, with the vaccine mandate and mask mandate, everybody, the President Joe Biden shouldn't leave it up to the states for them to have a vaccine mandate or mask mandate. He should issue a national vaccine and mask mandate and not just leave it up to the states, because if he leaves it up to the states, more people are going to die. Typically, the Republican states. We got lots of in denial Republican states that are losers and sewers that do not want people to stay alive. They want people to die of COVID so that way they have less people to worry about. And that's wrong.
Well, we know that the party of poor, they certainly don't care. I should note that GOP's House Judiciary Committee members, led by Representative Jim Jordan, questioned COVID-19 booster shots. The tweet with one tweet saying, quote, that the booster shots work. Why don't they work? The ranking Republican Representative Jim Jordan has supposedly pushed COVID-19 misinformation. What do you think about this new development as Republicans are allegedly pushing yet more disinformation in regards to the vaccine?
It's like they don't really care about the solution. When it comes, it comes. It doesn't, it doesn't. That and that. Thinking about people. People saying, "Well, I got mine. I got all this. I got money. This and that and that." And the little guy on the pole, forget about him. He falls out the window. Drop him to the floor. Just let it be. And it's terrible. People aren't caring for their fellow man. Some people are. Okay, I'll admit. Okay, not everybody I'm talking about, because I've seen some very warm-hearted, beautiful gestures of people over the last couple of years. Been very noticeable when they give from the heart.
And by the way, everybody, as we're talking about education, as far as I'm concerned, let's go ahead and keep critical race theory and those loser Republican states that got rid of critical race theory, bring the damn thing back, so that way we can teach our children that slavery and racism is wrong, so that way history does not repeat again, because nobody approves the slavery, and it's not registering to any Republicans that'll in Republican states that slavery is wrong.
People who, even no matter what party you are and all that, stand up, do something, get together, shake your neighbor's hand. Let's move along together. Fine. You all striving to find an answer to the same thing, and work together, do together. Something will happen. Very good.
Well, absolutely. I think we need to make sure that if you look at the country and looking back at the past year, we've seen lots of trouble throughout this country and throughout the world. We have pandemic, we had an economic recession. That was sort of that towards the end of last year, but its effects continued into early in this year. And I think the sad part about it is the sense of progress that we were supposed to build upon what was supposed to happen and what was supposed to be great. That's what Biden tried to do, but we instead had people doing the opposite and having failure at the current level. And I mostly blame Joe Manchin because we lost the opportunity with Build Back Better. And of course, we know we lost the ability at the federal level of raising the minimum wage to $15 an hour because of that now infamous no vote. And it's unfortunate because we could have had, if Democrats really did good, we would have had another New Deal era. That's what we should be striving for. And unfortunately,
Well, what's happening right now is the people that need to work together, the Democrats, right? You got to group together. You got to organize. You got to do something. You got to speak up, say something. Talking to you, Mr. President. Talking to you, Ms. Vice President, and everybody else that's a central figure in the government, in the economy, and everything doing with our wonderful country, getting it to run smoothly together. It's really terrible that all it is just talk, nothing going on. Come on, And right now, it's being handed to us to do something. We gotta pick it up and do it. Okay.
So I'll let you know, everybody, we have a video from Kyle Kalinske and Crystal Ball saying that the Democrats party is committing suicide because Joe Manchin and Kristen Sinema keeps refusing to get things done. So
they are, because we were promised things. We were promised a big climate change resolution bill. We were promised the public option. If short of universal health care, that would have been okay. Good. We were promised voting rights. We were promised all these things, and we're not getting it done because of one person, Joe Manchin, and they need to kick his lights out for what he did. They really need to start doing things to punish him for not supporting the agenda, because this is an agenda that is supported by a majority of Americans and by a majority of West Virginians in his state. If you look at West Virginia, you'll see that it is the fourth poorest state in the country. And Build Back Better polls at 60% in the state of West Virginia, and one poll it got as high as 76%. So we got to realize we got to put pressure. You got to do the Johnson treatment, just like LBJ did, and just like FDR did with the passage of the New Deal and with the passage of the Great Society. They both did what they needed and what they had to do to get things done. Biden is not doing that. He's been soft-spoken. He hasn't taken a shot at Manchin. He hasn't done much to support him. And I think it's unfortunate that this is the case, because we had an agenda that really could have worked. And now Biden's in danger of being a lame duck president. And I think Manchin ended the Biden presidency because nothing is going to get done, and there's nothing to campaign on. And more importantly, even more important than campaigning, there's nothing to benefit the lives of the people, with the exception of that stimulus check. But even that was rolled back. Remember, we were promised $2,000 stimulus checks. Instead, we got $1,400.
We need more stimulus checks, okay? I don't care what people say. There are people that are just hanging on. There are people that need the extra help. They have kids that are starving. They have kids that are hurt. Kids not getting taken care of medically. Same goes with the older people. The money stimulus would help them a great deal. Doing different things. The monthly amount you talked about sending each of us monthly. That means one time a month. If you want to do weekly, fine. That'd be even better. But at least help. With the people. People stop accepting it. Stop banging on the doors.
What we really need to do is have universal basic income, which is even better than the stimulus checks. Universal basic income, UBI. It's been done successfully in Chicago, in Toronto. Canada's doing it on a national level. I believe in Germany or France. It's been done in Paris at a successful level. It's taken millions out of poverty. That's what we really need, is UBI, because that would develop and would get millions out of poverty. That's the real plan. $7,000 a month by the government. For the government the government responding to the pandemic. We really do need that action. And I'll talk more about that in a sec. Before we go to break, I wanted to mention the passing of Betty White, who unfortunately died. She, of course, was the star of Golden Girls
and Hot in Cleveland.
She was special in her own way.
She really was. She was obviously a big star, one of the most famous Hollywood, actresses from that era, because she was from sort of the old era, the studio system era.
I used to watch a show. It was called Boston Legal. If I recall right, I used to see Betty on it quite often. She was one of the co-stars. I fell back in love with her. Of course, watching repeats on the Nostalgia channel, we'll call it. She's on the Mary Tyler Moore Show, which unbelievable.
Back when I was younger, everybody, I remember watching Betty White on Everybody Loves Raymond as the co-host, and of course Hot in Cleveland as the star. And then, of course, watching her on the repeats of the Mary Tyler Moore Show as a co-star. So it's too bad Betty White passed away. And Betty White was 99 when she died. And
yeah, she was 99 years old.
and rest in peace in heaven, Betty White.
Yeah.
All right, we'll be back.
We'll be back. We'll
take our
our
first break.
first break, and then we'll talk about Ghislaine Maxwell, Jeffrey Epstein's fellow hair. And, we'll be back. This is the Commie. Okay, welcome back.
Okay, welcome
Hey, how you
back
doing,
to
huh?
the Commie and the Liberal, everybody. Now
We were talking a little about sports.
Yes. I wanted to mention something quick. The Beatles, the new documentary movie is out now.
Oh, that's terrific.
So,
We're talking about movies and all that. This past Sunday, we were watching a show. Quite a few millions of people probably watched it, possibly, or maybe I just. It was a look at John Madden as a person, as a coach,
absolutely.
as an announcer. He's a wonderful guy. I can't really talk about it because I'll break into tears. But
Same
we
here.
miss you, guy.
We all miss you,
We
Joe
miss
Madden.
you. John Madden was great. He was an icon. He was a wonderful guy. Anybody who, excuse me, anybody who knew him knows how great of a guy he was, and it's amazing. It's amazing just how much impact he had on the sport. Uh, Vince Lombardi and Bill Belichick are really the only other two coaches, maybe Chuck Noll, who really had an impact on the game. And obviously, we all know about the video game Madden NFL. That was the first video game I ever played on Xbox, and it was Madden NFL 13, and it was a great experience, and I will always have memories of that, and going undefeated for 9 seasons with my team, Pittsburgh, which I went undefeated there, and in Madden NFL 25, and of course my brother went undefeated with the Cowboys for I think 3 or 4 seasons. So, but we loved the game. We loved Madden. He was a great coach. He had such force with how much he knew about the game and about the plays.
And he was a people person. He really gave you that time of day, no matter who you were. You could be just walking past, and that's about it. We mentioned about our heartfelt feelings go out to Miss Madden and John's two sons.
Yeah.
We're with you, and not just us, but people throughout the world.
We are, because that is, he'll have a legacy in football, in the game, in the broadcast booth, and of course in video games. Madden was 85 years old. But to move on to something else.
Excuse me, everybody. I was going to speak myself.
Mm-hmm.
I was going to tell you, everybody, that yesterday Colorado had another wildfire yesterday. And it's the month of December, and we're not even in the April or May yet, and they just had another wildfire. But again, it's because it was hot and humid in Colorado yesterday, and it's all because of climate change with heat index values in the 90s yesterday.
Well, excuse me, according to the weather today, about an hour ago, which I was watching on the television, they have 3 to 6 inches of snow approaching. So they hope, of course, they'll lay rest the fires, and they're hoping it comes. Yeah, not that it changes direction and it goes away from it.
Yes,
So
and
we can say our prayers and only hope for the best.
That's true. We can only say our prayers and only hope for the best. But by the way, in Colorado, even though it's not even April or May yet, it's been getting up into the 70s and 80s too. And the heat index has been getting up into the 80s and 90s, which can cause wildfires. And the wildfires are all because of climate change. That's another reason why we need to fix this planet. We don't fix the planet, wildfires are going to keep on happening. Well, the whole planet will go underwater. And not only that, we'll have more pandemics and more people will die. Because there's talk about parts of Florida going underwater. There's talk about Hawaii going underwater because of climate change. There was talk about even states that are along the water going underwater because of climate change.
With this, with climate change, with all this trouble happening, I just want to remind people and all that investigation has to be done through China, of course, like my son said, through Russia, and through the United States, because Donald Trump knows more than what he's talking about. And another thing about Donald Trump knowing something more than he's talking about, what about the children?
Yeah, that's another thing, the children, because the children are guilty too.
No, I'm not saying that. The children about being assaulted, being sold, slavery.
Yeah, that's
Trevor,
right.
could you say something? Trevor knows a little bit more about it than I do,
Maxwell.
so go ahead. Go ahead, son.
Yes, Giselle Maxwell, who is, of course, the confidant of Jeffrey Epstein. She is being arrested and being held at trial, and she was involved in the selling and trafficking of women into sex slavery. And of course, we know that Donald Trump was boarded the island on a plane. We know that other prominent people like Bill Clinton and Prince Andrew all went to the island, which was known as Pedophile Island, and that's what happened. So.
Yes, like what I'm saying, all this terrible stuff needs to be brought up, needs to be looked at, needs to make something done with it and all that. And then, of course, investigate the countries, the people that are involved in what's happening with this virus. You're guilty out there. You know you're guilty, whoever you are, and we're going to find you. It may not be today or tomorrow, but it's going to be as soon as we can. And you definitely be being taken care of.
Yeah. Well.
And by the way, everybody, I was going to just tell you right now with the NFL playoffs. The playoffs are supposed to start on January the 15th. Which would be on a Saturday, everybody. And there's 17 games of the regular season. We got 2 more games left. And the team that's number 1 in the NFL right now would be of course the Green Bay Packers. Then number 2 would be Kansas City. Then number 3 would be Dallas.
With this thing of playing the the pro football and all that, it shouldn't be because of what's happening. There's been a lot of teams that had to cancel their games and move them somewhere else, or had to quarantine players and all. It's not just pro, college also. And some college games have been totally canceled and all that. So because of the same reason, because of the virus and everything. Realize we're killing us. That's you, me, and I.
Yeah.
Everyone else. We don't want that. So let's put our heads together, people. Let's work with each other and make a horizon for our children to grow to. Let's not cut them short.
Yeah, I also wanted to mention on the subject of sports that Seth Rollins of the WWE has COVID, so he will not be wrestling this week.
Seth Rollins just tested positive for COVID.
But he's not. He said wrestling.
Yeah, he's not going to be wrestling because of that. So
Seth Rollins?
Yeah, and then of course the other big news out of the WWE, out of wrestling, was the release of NXT Women's Champion, former NXT Women's Champion Toni Storm, who was British and I believe competed at the NXT UK brand, but then moved to the US and competed in NXT, and she won the women's title. She was considered to be one of the top NXT recruits, and she's been fired apparently by Vince McMahon. So there's lots of talk about that, how that might shake up the women's division in NXT, because WWE has been firing a lot of people lately.
Must be a reason behind it, I would think.
Yeah,
More than we know.
I'm sure there is.
So,
And
can I make a notation? This is the last day of the the year right now, and I was looking at a magazine which comes in the mail to me, and I was all through the whole magazine is dedicated to people that we've lost for the year, and we're talking about sports. Now I want to say, hey, I used to live in Tallahassee for about a year, and I just want to say we love you, Bobby Bowden.
yeah, Bobby Bowden, he died this year, I think, or maybe last year. He was a great coach, and maybe he did have a big impact on the game. Maybe not as big as John Madden did on the NFL, but still, he won quite a few championships and was one of the college football's most enduring figures. I mean, he was head coach for 35 years, 40 years.
Yeah, for quite a while.
A long time. So
let you know, everybody. It's too bad that Bobby Bowden passed away, because he was a very good coach, and he won some Super Bowls too.
No, he didn't win Super Bowl, son.
Okay.
He won the college.
He was just a college coach, but
college and all that.
Yeah,
So,
he never competed in the NFL as a coach. But
he has a bunch of, I don't know how many number, but he has sons, and they're involved in sports in some way. I believe they even were coaches of different colleges at different points in their life. That's for sure. Bobby Bowden is just something special as a person, as a coach, as a leader, as just a regular man.
Now, so to let you know, everybody, I watched the weather on the Weather Channel yesterday, and Danielle Banks and Erie Palmer from the Weather Channel both said that this month of January coming up is going to be 10 degrees colder than the month of December. Now, where we're at, the daytime highs are going to be in the 60s and 70s and 50s. The nighttime lows will be in the 40s, 50s, and 60s. There's only 4 nights this week where it's only getting down to the 60s. All the rest of the nights, 40s and 50s. Now, like we have talked about in September, 60 degrees is considered short weather. So when you look at those 4 nights where it's only getting down to the 60s, hey, you could relax, Don't have to worry about putting something warm on. That's the good thing. The last day, it's getting up into the 80s until either February, March, or April, or sometime in January. And on Sundays, the temperature is supposed to drop from 72 to 45 degrees where we're at, and the low's 37 degrees. As for up north is supposed to get more snowstorms for the month of January. From the North Pole all the way down to Texas, it's going to be getting lots of snowstorms for the month of January. So from the North Pole all the way to Texas, make sure you be prepared, everybody. Make sure you evacuate and what have you. because otherwise the snow is going to cover you up and you end up dying in the snow. So make sure you all be prepared for those people that are in Texas on up, and go ahead and evacuate.
Well, definitely, if we're getting ready for the cold weather, definitely dress good, dress as much as you can, from your head to your fingertips to your toes. Definitely make sure, because all it takes is a little bit, to finally get the best of you, and then you die. So make sure and stay inside, people. Only go out when you got to go out. That's because of the virus. That's because of the snowstorms. That's because of the fire. It's common sense. Stay home. You want to live to see tomorrow. You want your eyes to open up tomorrow morning, and you're looking at yourself again. Hey, I'm here. Thank you. Always say thank you, because we deserve. We need to say thank you to show how much we really honor life itself.
And by the way, like Dr. Fauci said, until 100% of the population's fully vaccinated, only go out when needed. Do not go outside if you don't need to go outside, because otherwise you're going to get COVID and end up dying, God forbid, whether you're fully vaccinated or not, because not enough people are vaccinated yet. And also, Dr. Fauci said it's going to take 2 years in order to get enough people vaccinated, a year if we get lucky.
You have anything to close up shop? We're going to be closing up shop. Today we're caught up into everything. Of course, the holidays here, and just going to settle in, stay inside, like we said. Don't go out. We went out, the last couple of days getting stuff and everything. So got to have to play it safe. Thing we want to say. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year, everybody.
May you have many hundreds more. I mean that too. So living to 104 plus and not going anytime sooner.
That's why.
This has been the Commie.
This has been the Commie and the Liberal. And I want to tell you Happy New Year, everybody.
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
We'll see you again on Monday.
We'll see you again on Monday.
Enjoy your days and activities. Don't drink and drive, okay? Make sure you get to your destinations. Yeah. All right. See ya.